Nah, we won't get it. Go.
Okay, so I'm going to show you a little bit about how to refinish a bumper, how to refinish a hood, and how to refinish a fender on the same car. What I've done here, I've went around and sanded the damage down with 180 grit on the DA. I went ahead and filled the areas that was damaged. We've got some of it taped off. This here I've got sanded down with 180 and scuffed about to here. And I'm about to get ready to sand the filler down with some 180 grit to knock the filler down. Then I'm going to come over and I'm going to block it all flat. And then I'm going to apply some primer. So I'm about to sand it right now with the 180. 180 on the DA. What I'm doing now is I'm going to block this down with a hard block with a 180 sandpaper and a flat block. And that's going to show me where any of my high spots are or my low spots.
Why is it a good time to block at this point instead of using a DA?
Well, I went over it with the DA to get some of the, a lot of the filler off, so I have less blocking to do. But I didn't take the filler down too much. I didn't take it all the way off. So then, what you want to do is you want to block it, and that's going to make your surface nice and flat and smooth. So when you do go to paint it, you won't see any high spots in the filler, and everything's got to be perfectly smooth. All these edges and anything in the center.
Go.
All right, so what I've done, I've blocked it down with the 180, smoothed it out, and what I've noticed is I've got a little low spot right in here where it didn't sand all the way. That means that spot's low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little more Bondo over that and then come back and re-block it to make that nice and flush. Okay, we're going to let that dry, and then we're going to come back and re-block that. See if we're ready for some primer.
Yep.
Okay, so I blocked it down with a hard block, filled in any of my low spots, re-blocked it, and then I scuffed it up with a scuff pad around the area where I'm going to put the primer. That's what I'm about to do right now. I'm going to put primer on all my spots that I 180, spots on the hood, spots on the fender, and a couple spots on the bumper. I'm going to do that all at once. that some time to dry and set up. Give that some time to dry and set up, and then I'm going to come back over that, sand it down with 400. Alright, so basically what I've done, I've pre-cleaned it, got it all ready for paint. I went ahead and I put a base coat sealer on there, BC00, we use BASF paints. What that does, it creates a wet bed, helps your metallics set up a little better, especially when you're doing a silver car. You want to put that on there. I put that on everything, the hood, the bumper, and the fender over there. So now I'm going to apply my first layer of paint, see how it looks. Alright, so I put my first layer of paint on there. It's looking pretty good. Went over the hood. Got your fender. To the bumper. Painted the whole top of the bumper so the hood matches. Stop my paint about right there on this corner because I'm not painting into this fender. It's looking pretty good. It's going to need a couple more coats of paint just to blend the color out a little, and then we'll get into the clear coating stage. Okay, so I've got my paint on there. I've blended out my paint the way I want it. Looks covered. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my clear coat on. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a tack coat over the whole thing. Then I'm going to give that a few minutes to set up. And then I'm going to go ahead with my wet coat. And then I'll probably go ahead and do a second wet coat over the whole job, just to make sure that there's enough clear on there for when I got to do some, if I have to do any buffing, wet sanding or buffing. So it's going to be a tack coat and 2 wet coats. Okay, so I've got my tack coat on and my first wet coat over all of it. And it's looking pretty good. I'm going to let this tack up for about 5-10 minutes. A little flash time. And then I'm going to hit it with one more wet coat over all of it. Okay, so I've put my second coat of wet clear on. Here's what we've come up with. Now I'll let that dry. And then I'll go ahead and wet sand and buff any of the dirt nubs or any imperfections that I don't like, and make it nice and shiny again.